I see the transformation photos you post.
Sure. Yeah, they're cool. It's
Yeah,
all, you
yeah,
have a lot
yeah.
of customers. So
Very motivating.
for sure, some of those people make me look bad. I got to start training harder. Well, so you have to define what perfect technique means. Perfect technique means technique that is both safe and functionally stimulates whatever it is you want to stimulate. And a stimulus has to have quite a bit of overload to it. It can't just look like a good thing. It has to be a good thing. So part of good technique is physically moving the weights in the right direction, but that doesn't grow a lot of muscle unless you can put a lot of tension through the muscles or push the muscles very close to failure, generate a lot of metabolites, so on and so forth. So what we definitely don't want to see is people who are so paranoid about their technique that they never put on enough weight on the bar or go close enough to failure to actually make things challenging. But so long as you're doing a full range of motion, so long as you're training relatively heavy and or going close to failure with higher reps, if that is in fact the case, then you should have very good technique doing it. And if you find a way to shorten your range of motion or to involve other muscles which are not supposed to be involved, that gives them more fatigue and to actually take stress away from the target muscle. And if those ways allow you to lift more weight, then you just have to be honest that you're just lifting more weight for more weight's sake. For example, during squats, if you squat more straight up and down to where your knee comes out pretty far at the bottom of the squat, that is a very quad stimulative squat. On the other hand, if you sit back more into a squat and you get to use your glutes and your lower back more and you actually have less knee flexion, you can lift more weight, seemingly even through the same range of motion, just with less targeting of the quads and more targeting of the glutes and lower back and so on and so forth. So the next question you have to ask yourself is which one of those is better? It depends on what you want. If you are squatting to target strength development, period, if you don't care about hypertrophy, then the second method of squatting back is better, right? You can lift more weight. But if you're squatting to specifically try to train your quads, which is why most people squat on hypertrophy, then the first method is better. So what you have is this temptation to try to, every time the reps get hard, you sort of try to sit back more. But you have to ask yourself the question is, why am I sitting back? It's like, to get more reps, because that's better. But why is it better? Because it stimulates the quads more? But no, it doesn't, because you're sitting back away from the quads, right? So really good technique is when you're always present for your technique every single set and every single rep. You're like, is this hitting the muscle it's supposed to? Yes. Is this hitting the muscle it's supposed to? Yes. Is this hitting? Ooh, nope. I'm sitting back. Ooh, let me sit forward. Aha, now I'm hitting my quads again. Great. So there has to be this kind of constant mind-muscle connection to make sure you're really hitting what you're hitting. That's good technique. But just to reiterate, I wouldn't say good technique is when everything has to be 100% perfect. And someone's like, did you feel your chest? You're like, not really. You're like, did you feel like a robot? Like, yes, I think I did that perfectly. Well, perfectly for what? Right? So sometimes technique doesn't look as good as it could, even though the muscle's getting hit optimally. That's really what we want. 9 times out of 10, that's the same thing. But there's like some people on the periphery there that are just really, oh man, for lack of a better term, just overly meticulous and a little bit too paranoid, and they can think that perfect technique is what it looks like versus what it looks and feels like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it depends on the person, like how's his legs, long legs, short legs. Some people
Right.
can't go that low in the squat. Some people,
Totally, without
yeah,
rounding their back or something like that, for sure. Another thing about technical pedantry, as I like to call it, is some people seem to focus on the most minute details of a technique that all are either irrelevant or completely explainable by individual variation. So one question I get all the time is when I curl, sometimes I curl to my face and sometimes I stop my curls here. And it doesn't matter which way I do it. Half of the Instagram questions is, why didn't you go all the way to full flexion, Dr. Mike? Or half the Instagram questions are, why do you go all the way up? Doesn't that use your delts? So you guys, this right here has made no difference on anyone's biceps ever. If it's a more comfortable technique, if it lets you standardize more, if you feel a little bit more of a contraction, either way, go to town. People post videos of squats and sometimes they're below parallel, right? But they're not all the way down. Am I looking at it on YouTube or Instagram being like, this idiot's not doing full ROM? No, I'm like, that's a great squat, What are those last inch or two? But yeah, there's some stretch under tension there, but it's nothing you can't make up with more reps and more load by going just slightly below parallel. I think a lot of people tend to see technique as this never-ending quest for perfection to meet these very arbitrary and sometimes anatomical or biomechanical landmarks, which they're not even so sure correlate to growth in any way. So when I say full range of motion, I say just don't do anything stupid that is you just cheating. You know,
Yep.
like, so why are you doing this range? Because I can lift more weight. Like, that's it? Like, yeah, that's it. Like, okay. And if it's pretty good range of motion, I'm not going to be super pedantic about people, you know, oh, you have to rotate the humerus this way. Like, that stuff is just for insane people to go down rabbit holes and nobody learns anything.
Yeah.